Hi, good morning, viewers. Good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Ken Oguzie, and you're welcome to this edition of Viewpoint with Kenneth Oguzie. As usual, I do have with me today a very exciting guest, someone I know personally and someone whom I've watched over the years really grow her trajectory, in her career, which is typical of the African spirit and which is what we highlight here, Viewpoints. For some of you who've never watched any of our series, it's really a platform to showcase all the amazing stuff which Africans in the diaspora and Africans in the homeland are doing, and how much they are making an impact both within their immediate environment and far away, and really to find ways for them to tell their stories, and hopefully it can inspire the next generation of leaders, present generation and future. So without wasting so much time, I am really excited to get into this conversation because it's one of those things I look forward to. So I would like to introduce Anulika Akuagbazie, who is a supply chain leader, someone with international experience working with various multinationals, and who has really done so well in terms of her career. And we really want to hear from her and maybe hear from her in terms of her story. So welcome, Anulika.
Thank you, Ken. It's good to be here, and thank you for the opportunity again to share my story.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. How is it going in Nigeria at the moment? Is it warm? Well, it is warm, but
yes,
what's going on there?
It's warm, so we are blessed with periods of warm and rainy season and rain. So it's warm and it can be cold and more of the rains. But basically today it's very sunny. So
okay. Well, I'm looking out from my window here. It is a bit sunny, but it's very tricky because it's deceitful. You see the sun, and I'm sure you can, because I know you have worked outside Nigeria and Europe as well briefly. So I'm sure we'll talk about that. But it's very deceitful. So you step out thinking, oh, it's sunny, I don't need a sweater or a jacket, and then it hits you.
Then it gets chilly.
You go back and do the right thing, right?
Yes, I can relate to that. I can relate to that.
Fantastic.
That's likened to the weather we have in one of the mountainous regions in Nigeria, Obudu, in Calabar.
Okay.
I visited there recently, and it's warm, it's chilly, and it's everything mixed together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it's like a climate roller coaster.
Exactly.
Anyways, so yeah, we're just gonna jump right into this, Anulika. I'm sure our viewers are really excited to hear your story, and I am excited as well because I know you personally, but sometimes it's interesting how people, but until you have sort of like a formal platform like this, then you get to really know what makes them excited and all of those pieces. So let's start off by supply chain leader. That's one of your that's your baby. That's what you really one of the key things you love. But tell us a little bit more about yourself, Anulika. Who is Anulika?
Okay. Anulika, obviously I'm female.
Yeah.
Anulika, it's fun-loving Christian that is passionate about supply chain. I'm a supply chain leader with over 10 years experience in various aspects of supply chain planning and execution, production, quality management, quality in trade, compliance, system setup and execution and implementation. I'm goal-oriented, and I'm driven by passion for processes and systems to achieve results in a sustainable way. That's one. I am from the eastern part of Nigeria. Nigeria is in West Africa, for people that don't know.
Yes.
I live in Lagos. Lagos is the commercial hub of Nigeria. So it's very busy. I'll call it small, but it houses a lot of people. So it's a very busy and very dense populated city. So I live in Lagos. Everybody should try to visit Lagos anytime soon. And I love outdoor activities, outdoor sports, and I love traveling. I love visiting new places. I love trying new and blending with new cultures and seeing what to learn from different people. Yeah. That's fantastic. In a nutshell.
Fantastic. Wow. So 10 years experience. So you spoke about this whole piece around supply chain and of course tied into engineering as well. So what was the motivation? Like how how did that come about? Because sometimes I know some people stumble into stuff, while some people, it has always been like innate passion for them. So what's the story behind that?
Okay, I'll start from growing up. I would say growing up, I've always loved science. I've always loved, it comes easy to me. I don't like stories. I like to be able to piece the processes together. I like to be able to figure it out. Like, it has to make sense. I don't have to think of the history of what happened years ago, or do you understand? I love history.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but I'm passionate about science growing up. So I said, okay, what is in it for me? I thought about being a doctor, but then I realized that I wasn't cut out to be a doctor. Biology wasn't my forte, kind of. And I said, okay, I'd like to work with the sector of the economy. I thought about it, hence my application to the company I worked with. I've worked with other companies before then. I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to be able to apply my myself with the way I'm innately like I'm methodological. I like systems. I like processes. I want to be able to apply myself in a broader place, in a broader space. That's what encouraged me, or that's what led me to go into supply chain experience or supply chain management.
And how has it been thus far? Does it meet your expectations? Has there been some surprises along the way?
Oh, yes. Okay, my expectation, yes, has been met. But I always tell people, you chart your own expectation. Actually, it's not handed down to you.
I like that.
yeah, you have to chart. You have to decide the course you want to take. So yes, my expectation has been the experience has been awesome. It's been good. My expectation has been top notch, because you have to take ownership of your learning, and I can't complain. Truly, I can't complain. I've had the best rides. I've had tough times. I've learned from them. I've grown. I've succeeded. I've won. I've lost some. Yeah. But it makes you good. Oh, I'm happy I had those learnings. So yes, it's been awesome.
That's great to hear, because it's exciting when you get into people's career or business journey, and you want them to give you like honest opinions. And it's I mean, of course, you don't get a lot of people who say to you that it hasn't met my expectations and all of those pieces, but it's always great to reflect upon that whole piece. And for myself, I remember I started off going into medicine as a whole, trying to study, even though that didn't pan out well. It's a long story, but it's one of those things. Sometimes I just imagine like what my life would have been like, being a doctor and all of those pieces. I mean, the first for me feels like maybe I wouldn't have enjoyed it, but life, you don't know, humans, sometimes we have things in us that, except we are presented or put in those situations, we can't really say how we would succeed or how we fail, right?
Yeah.
Wow,
that's true.
Interesting. But so thinking about supply chain and of course engineering, which is the core of some of what you have done and what you still do, we know it's a male-dominated profession. It's a male-dominated space overall. And we talk about this whole piece around, increasing representation in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM as a whole. Architecture, STEAM, that's, we've had arts, that's been added to it. So how has it been like in terms of challenges, for you, both breaking in and then staying on top? Because you're on top. I see a lot of things you do. Sometimes we talk and you tell me all this great stuff you do. So how has it been in terms of challenges?
Okay, truly, I like the way you put it. In the past 2 years, or there's been this drive for inclusion and diversity.
Yep.
But before then, because we've been in the space before then, it's we have a lot of things as culture driven. So you have to manage, like you said, a male dominated space.
Yeah.
And those people are people that have the mindset that, oh, why would a woman have to be my, have to be my boss?
Yeah.
Why would I have to work with a woman? This is Africa, this happens. And you have to, personally, you have to find what works for you. That's what I tell people. You have to find what works for you. So remain your authentic self, but you have to give yourself opportunity to improve. We've had challenges of people questioning your competence because you're a lady, questioning your assertiveness because they think you're in your period or something. There are many references to things that are not connected to what's being discussed, but you have to you have to find a way to keep focused on the subject, basically. And that's how I would frame it up. But please remind me again, the question is to...
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're talking about, some of the challenges you faced, because it is exactly what you're talking about, like challenges as a woman in a male-dominated space, because I know it's tough.
Oh, yeah, so there's a question of your confidence. Is she confident? Why is it a lady? What happened to the other guys? Then there are problems of people don't just want to be told what to do.
Yep.
They don't want to be managed by a female. Basically, it's you see them go easy on your colleagues that are male, and for you it is, oh, I don't like the way she's talked, and you evaluate or you pre-record what you say to the person or the discussion, and everybody says, oh, there is nothing wrong with what you just said, but they don't like it because they don't like that such corrections probably would come from females, and it's changing slightly, but we'll get there. I believe we'll get there because the inclusion and diversity, what a lot of people are driving to include more females, so there are more numbers, and if you're more, basically people get used to seeing you people around.
Yep.
Yes, and some people just accept because over time, when you've proven to them that you're there to support them, you're there to work with them, achieve their goals too, they let down their guards and they're willing to work with you. Yeah, there are still some unrepentant ones, but those ones are very few. You have to learn to know when you've won a good part of the battle and know when to, continue moving on with something else instead of trying to pick up everybody along. It's not everybody that you win into your chamber, kind of.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. And I think you mentioned some good stuff there. I mean, I'm not sure if you know this, but part of my expertise, my second life, I also do work on diversity and inclusion. So it's something I'm very passionate about. And, I do a lot of work training and all of those pieces, but I don't want to digress too much. So one thing I also have to really talk about, which some people think, because you mentioned, especially from a culture piece in Africa, even in Europe and North America, even in Canada here, there are still a lot of gender gaps, in employment, in leadership, and all of those pieces. Yes, maybe you might sometime maybe have it a bit more obvious in your face in the homeland, Africa, but it is still here. It is still, it's a global discussion, and everyone really needs to take time to reflect, especially the males, like, how can we be more supportive? Some of us, how can we be allies? How can we speak up whenever we see some issues around microaggression towards, females? But I wanted to hear your opinion. Does it even get worse when you want to advance in your career into leadership? Because some people are not used to going into a board and seeing 10 people in the room and you have 6 female leaders, what are your thoughts on that in terms of when you then move into leadership?
Yes, I believe you have to deal with tougher challenges and tougher people. They are more confrontational when you move higher. I'll give you 2 examples. I've had people come and for the previous role I did before my current role, I have people come and oh, I'm looking for this. I say, oh yeah, I'm the person. And they're like, oh no, how is that possible?
Exactly.
And somebody blatantly told me that was an European that came to work on part of the plant I was servicing. And the person blatantly told me, there is no way you got this on merit. You must have played some politics. And I told the person, if it's politics, then I'm good on my relationship. I should keep that up.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
No, because it's everything. It's not just about your hard work. I'm not saying hard work doesn't count. You work hard, but you have to keep allies. You have to keep relationship open. You have to
Absolutely.
talk to people up there about the opportunities available. You have to talk to people about what you want to do. I believe women actually put the ceiling to themselves, not other people. Women, we're so self-critical that we'll limit ourselves. So when people say such things like, oh, you play politics, we withdraw, and you're like, oh, no, I don't want to be seen as a person. No, it's okay. After maybe 6 days, because he was in a visit for 2 weeks, after 6 days, he came back to apologize that, oh, he's sorry. That after this few days with me, he realizes that I'm actually the right person. I said, no problem. I didn't even take offense in the first place. You have to also learn to maybe, let's say, anticipate those things, because growing up in this terrain, it's not something you say, it's not there, it's there. So sometimes I anticipate it. I'm not moved by them anymore. It's amazing. I'm not, I expect things, I still hear things, and I'm not moved by them. I don't want them just to distract me, because they have the propensity to distract you. Absolutely. From the substance. Exactly. When you start figuring out, oh, what would people think about this, or what would people know, they will distract you. So I keep focused on the substance, so that I make sure I hit my goal.
And I think it's important. I mean, obviously it's a shame that in 2021 we're having some of these discussions, and I'm not a woman. I mean, I try to be an ally to support as much as I can. So I can't understand fully, but thinking about the fact that you're navigating this whole male domination in the workplace, in the society, everywhere, you're having to always be on your guard and, sort of defend your competence. That's draining, right?
Yes, I don't do that anymore. I don't defend my competence anymore. Because you might even get so, I don't know, you might become vindictive if you keep trying to defend. So it's there, your competence. Don't let people put you in a place to defend your competence.
Absolutely.
But rather, always challenge yourself to be the better version of yourself. Challenge yourself to create the opportunity to show your competence. Because sometimes the opportunity is not given. Sometimes you don't have the opportunity to say, oh, this person is really good. You have to create those opportunities, seek out opportunities to display what you're able to do. And when you have one actually handed over to you, you have to make a go for it. But otherwise than that, you'll be losing a lot of energy trying to show your competence. But that happened maybe earlier on. Now, for me, I've moved on. I've found a way to keep myself focused on what I'm supposed to be doing, instead of trying to prove to these other people that I'm competent.
Yeah. And there might be a lot of other younger girls or younger women listening to this conversation, like when we put it out. And I was going to ask you, what are 3 strategies that that has helped you navigate this sort of all these microaggressions? You mentioned focus, that you stay focused on what you do. So what would 2 other things be? I mean, and it doesn't have to be like something specifically. It could just be a strategy that people might be able to learn from it,
Yeah, okay. I try to keep a learning mindset. So it's a conscious effort. If you blank out the noise, it's possible that you actually blank out the opportunity to get really important feedback that you could improve on.
Interesting.
Do you understand? Because you term everything noise.
Wow.
So you have to culture your mind to actually listen to people. Do you understand? And get the message. Even if it's been sandwiched with a lot of gibberish and tearing down, you have to get the message and leave the rest. The rest of the trash. It's a conscious effort. I also recommend that women, if you're listening, you could read. A colleague of mine gave me a book some couple of years back, a female colleague. It's Earning It by Joan Lublin. It's a fantastic book about how to navigate. You have to challenge yourself and also keep a learning mindset. That's what I do. I keep a learning mindset. I want to be able to learn, and I want to be able to block out the noise so that I can stay focused. If you stay focused, then you're good. Yeah. Because for you to be in that position in the first place, you've worked for it, you're competent enough to be in the position. The recruiters are not all stupid.
Yeah.
They saw something, exactly. They saw something in you. Don't let any other person tear down your confidence. Don't let any other person trample on it. Stay focused on the feedback. Oh, what's this person? They want to improve. They want me to improve on my tone. They want me to improve on my body language. But then maintain your authentic self. You're this kind of person, maintain it, but learn how to get results being your authentic self. And also stay focused on your results, the hard numbers. Make sure that in all you're doing, in all the sub things that you do to ensure that you get to the goal, your results are also in the hard numbers. Yes. That way you are you're able to rise above the noise, you're able to rise above the microaggressions, and you're able to rise above the distractions.
Absolutely.
I also forgot a good part. You have to keep a support system. Yeah, so internal allies and external ones. So at home, you have to have a good support system. And at the office, you have to have a good support system with your peers, some people lower up, and then a lot of people higher up. Yeah.
Wow.
Those are the people that would push forward your candidacy to say, oh, no, but we know this person. Do you understand? I can speak of this person's character.
Interesting. And I like the support system piece as well. And I think to an extent, a lot of that support system needs to also come from the males, because males could work as allies, and we know how historically societies have been created where the power lies, and it's very, very gendered. It's more like men. So I always tell people sometimes it's not about giving up your power, it's about sharing your power. So basically, what are you doing with having all that whole power and authority? And if you're not using it positively and sharing with every other person so that we can all have, a close to equal society, then obviously it's a waste. So I agree with you. A support system with your peers is very important. People that can mention your name in those board meetings and who can testify to your work, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. And I think our viewers, a lot of them will, really benefit. I mean, even myself, there are a few things you talked about today that I've not even seen them from that perspective. So thanks for sharing that, because for me, it's a learning opportunity as well, right?
You're welcome. Okay.
But now, I mean, I just want to ask this question before, we move to the closing question. Typically, think about your career 10 years ago and think about where you are right now. Do you think there has been more changes in terms of workplaces as a whole around this whole attitude towards women playing in male-dominated spaces, both at leadership level or employee level? Do you think there's been a change, or do you think it's just the same, really, nothing much has changed?
Okay. Okay. I would want to step away from because supply chain is changing a bit slowly. Yeah, very slowly. And let's say for STEM, I would say it's changing a bit slowly, and women are kind of porting out of STEM to go to other, let's say, more divergent marketing and different sections where they feel they will have they will have more time and they will have better experience. So let's say the environment has not changed much, but the talk to make the environment change is it's getting louder, and things are beginning to inch in the direction they should go. But then it doesn't just inch on its own. I have to be honest. It requires myself, it requires everybody out there to make the movement, because it starts with us. If you're in the position to make the environment more conducive, create that environment. That's what I tell people. If you're in the position to change something, change it. It's let me just summarize it this way. It's let's say it's changing slowly for supply chain and faster for other places outside STEM. Yeah. Because I've seen the board transform to an OMI board, to board that has up to 4 female. I've seen other boards, in other countries in the same organization transform to boards that have more female. I've seen deliberate attempts to include females, yeah, in a lot of opportunities, in a lot of activities. But then it's one thing to include them, and then it's another thing for them to think that maybe this lifestyle, because the work environment, it's not so, I'm sorry, I have somebody on the door.
It's okay.
It's at the door.
Sorry, we lost her for a couple of seconds, so we'll just probably take this part off when we do the final demo.
Okay, I'm back.
Right. Okay.
Sorry, I had somebody at the door.
That's okay.
Yeah, so it's something that because the work environment has not changed that much, and people feel, oh, are they able to combine this amount of work or amount of time required with the family, and they're like, okay, maybe I should try something else. That's why I prescribed that book. You can actually get good of both ends. And that's by building your support system outside and in work. And you have to find something that works, and you have to get what you want from the people around you, actually. You have to make a conscious of it. It's not handed over yet. We are not where it's handed over. Yeah.
Yes. I agree. And you mentioned a good point there, which is one of the things we talk about in diversity and inclusion, where the first step is making it diverse, bringing the women in. The second piece is making it inclusive, so that they feel like they are being heard and they are being supported, because otherwise it's you've only solved one problem but created another problem, because you're now putting people in a toxic environment, which is bad for their mental health and all of these pieces, but so we did talk about this whole piece now in the workplace, and I'm sure some of the experiences you shared might be just from the whole supply chain perspective. Just to hear from you around STEM as a whole, like STEM, women in STEM, what do you think, what do you think what does the future look like for Africa as a whole in terms of women? Because in this part of the world, and I'm sure to an extent too in some select, hubs in Africa, there's a lot of push for women to go into STEM. They're providing like some extra support, systems just to ensure that, there's more interest, and some of those barriers which has been hindering people from considering those careers are being eliminated. So what are your thoughts? Like, future, it's just a prediction. What do you think might play out, in Africa for women in STEM?
Okay, it's this way. With the push I currently see, I believe the proportion of women in STEM is going to inch higher. But with what I say, because it's one thing to inch the proportion higher, it's another thing for the environment to keep them. Yeah, exactly. So if the environment doesn't change, I also see that those people that have inched higher or that has moved to STEM might want to draw back to some other things that are not science, technology, or engineering based, because they want to have more time, or they want to have more time for family or something. But I see a move for this to inch higher, because there is a deliberate attempt or deliberate effort to include more women. But the culture is not changing, but a little bit of change, actually, it's changing. But then the environment has not changed much. When I say the environment is, so the what are, if you have women in corporate organizations where they have to run shifts, running shifts is not a problem, but we have to maybe work extended hours even after your shifts, or you have to continuously be on call. I'm not saying these are wrong, or these you have to treat the women differently. No, what I'm saying is, if the work environment doesn't improve as a whole, then it might actually become difficult for women with considering our culture, to play heavily in it. So if you want to see, like in Nigeria, you check the women around, maybe you see them playing heavily in consulting or in HR. But in STEM, you see some, but not as heavy as when you see in HR or consulting or in the economic or financial space. Yes.
And I think you make a good point there. I agree with you. And I think one of the things I preach about when you have to talk about personalizing people's support systems for people. So even if you provide platforms for women to go into STEM, hey, there are careers for you to go into STEM. How much support are you providing holistically? Because when you talk about some of these extended shifts with women having to juggle, family things, some of them are sole custodians of children, all those pieces, which can impact how they show up at work. And then you just sit down and justify and say, oh, they're not good enough. They're not committed, but you're not looking. So as a leader, you're not sitting down to say, how can I support you? So it's not as if we are making excuses for them, but it's more like personalizing the support, understanding that they are different things. They are not just an engineer coming in. They are a mother. They are all of these pieces which can impact the experience, right?
Exactly. The idea of having nurseries in workspaces, it's still new in some places. And thinking about it, you can actually benefit from economies of scale. You can have a large nurseries and you have maybe company in the same streets, use one nursery. Do you understand? I mean, how many women would have babies that are still nursing in 1 year? Not the whole population, but you still have a number that come there, and that gives the person more time to focus at work and do what she needs to get done, and maybe spend some hours extra and pick up, because they knows the baby is being taken care of. Do you understand? Yes. This is not, it's not difficult. It's not asking too much. It's something that would encourage or would drive efficiency for those women.
I agree. And it's a very what would I use? More like a big discussion, especially from the gender piece. Some people would have their own reservations, or some people, oh no, culturally, this is our culture, blah blah. But I feel like there's always a third alternative. It doesn't have to be one or two. There's always a middle ground. The most important thing is we have these conversations and seek to understand from each other's perspective. Try to minimize the emotional piece, look at it more logic, and then we can reach a compromise, right?
Yeah, it can also be, it might not just be women that will benefit from this space. It can also be single fathers. It can also be not even a single father, a father that has to take care of his baby.
Absolutely.
But then it's your time to take care of your baby, and you need a space to put the baby while you focus on your work. It's something different. There are little minute things that could be done. So I have a place that I work recently extend the maternity leave. Before now, it was annual leave consuming. So you have 70 days or 77 days, it's annual leave consuming. Now it's no more annual leave consuming. So those are the deliberate steps. So you give the person more time to win the baby and return back to work fully charged to deliver her best. It's like, it's challenging. It's changing still. It's challenging, but it's not there. And I won't say it's not there yet, but we are making progress. It's not bad, but it's not there yet. I'm not complaining, but put out the work out there in any form to support that this movement keeps improving. So complaining is not the way to go. Oh yeah, no, we have to improve. We have to do things differently.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, highlighting the issue.
I'm not complaining, but I would.
Yes, it is an issue. It is an issue, and we're only highlighting it, and I think that's fair enough. That's the best way to really make progress. That's how every society has actually transformed to where they are. So discussions and highlighting issues. But just to round off the interview, any parting words for young women, in the early parts of their career right now, who are trying to figure out, the whole STEM, I'm in a STEM profession. I hope it's going okay. Is there any parting word or advice you want to give them?
Oh, sure. 2, actually. Oh, okay. 3.
Okay, go for it.
So 1 is have a plan. You must have a plan of where you want to be, how you want to get there, and the support system you actually need. Then work on building your support system, build allies internally, externally, up there, and then don't be scared of being heard. Be assertive, actually. Don't be scared of being heard, be assertive. So speak up, deliberately build yourself to be able to communicate clearly in short, clear times, on firm terms. This is what you want to do. This is how you want to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
But always have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most times we just dive in and we don't clearly have this plan of what we want. We just want to see how it goes.
Yep.
And your plan can change. That's why it's a plan. Nothing is ever, it's dynamic. It can change, actually. It's okay to change. So have a plan, short-term plan, long-term plan. This is what you want to do. This is how you want to get there. Then if the goalpost changes, you say, okay, I can actually do this way. It's better this way, or I want to get more experience in this field. Do you understand? Have a plan and always talk about it. It's okay to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, especially it's okay to be vulnerable. It's fine. I talk about what I want. I talk about people, opportunities that I would like to get. Talk about what you have, especially things coming from your plan that you want people to, you need people to support with. So you talk about it with people. Don't keep quiet. And you're the only person that can place a ceiling on you. You alone. We already placed the ceiling that, oh, I can't be able to figure this out. I can't do this. It's a big opportunity. It's the opportunity I want, but it's in a different city. Mm-hmm. You're the person that puts this opportunity or this cap on yourself. You have to discuss the opportunities. There are limitless possibilities. There are a lot of way out. Don't place a cap on yourself yet. Mm-hmm. Go for it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I tell the young people out there.
Fantastic. And I'm sure most of them will benefit listening to that, especially from someone who has been there, done that, and still doing it. So thank you very much, Anuli. It's been really
thank you so much, Ken.
Yes, it's been a pleasure. And you know, I tell people these conversations could last 3-4 hours. I don't have a problem talking. I love to talk. I love to listen to stories, but obviously we also have to respect your time. And you know, it's a Sunday, so it's a day to relax and all of that. But you know, once again, thank you so much. And hopefully, you never know, in future we might have a part 2 of this conversation, right?
No problem. I'm willing. I enjoyed this talk, actually, and I didn't even share a lot of stories. I've shared some personal stories. Yeah.
Save it for the part 2 of this conversation. I'm sure our viewers will love it. So I'm really looking forward to inviting you again.
Thank you, Ken. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Anuli, and I'm looking forward to having you again.
All right. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. So viewers, we have been speaking to Anulika Akuagbazie, and you know, we've listened to her story. I think it's amazing. It's always good to listen to these stories and hear from our amazing guests of Africans who are in the diaspora, in the motherland, doing all this big stuff, making an impact and creating a difference. So once again, thank you very much for joining us today on Viewpoint with Kenneth Ogozie. Please feel free to leave your comment. What are your thoughts or perspectives around some of the things which we have highlighted today? And don't forget to share our videos as well. Follow us on all our Instagram handles and Facebook, Instagram, and of course, Twitter as well. So my name is Kenneth Ogozie, and it's been a pleasure as well. So looking forward to bringing more videos for you, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.